Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome back to today's Explainer. If you're the kind of person who loves geeking out over the hidden tactical mechanisms behind incredible team performances, well, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're decoding the tactical secrets of the Moroccan national team. This is a system that's incredibly complex, visually stunning, and just highly effective. Let's figure out exactly how they dismantle their opponents piece by piece, using this unified strategy.
And really, this brings us to the defining question of the tournament, right? How good are Morocco, actually? Just how far can they go? If you've been watching them play, you already know they've been one of the absolute most attractive teams to watch out there. But here's the thing, that aesthetic beauty, it isn't an accident. It's born from a very specific, highly deliberate style of play that is grounded in these constant, dizzying rotations between their players. And that highly attractive fluid style is exactly what we're going to decode today.
So, to truly understand their system, we have to look at the profiles of the players themselves. Someone recently noted that Americans would call these sorts of players Swiss Army knives, and that hits the nail on the head because extreme flexibility is absolutely their defining trait. The whole reason Morocco can rotate so seamlessly all over the pitch is because their players share incredibly similar, highly technical profiles. You aren't just swapping a defender for a forward, you're swapping players who can comfortably step up and perform the technical duties of multiple roles without any drop in quality whatsoever.
Now, what's really interesting is seeing this rotation in actual practice. Let's look at the midfield. You've got Romaz Neal Ali and the 18-year-old sensation everyone's talking about right now, Bati. Either one of them can drop between the lines or just push forward seamlessly. Then you've got Hakimi, who is nominally a right back, but he can just sit in the pocket or play on the last line. El Khanous, usually on the left, will suddenly shift all the way out to the right side of the pitch. Unahi, your central 10, he'll just casually fill in on the wing. It's wild because this completely destroys traditional man marking. If an opponent tries to use structured references to press them, these players just switch positions, do the exact opposite thing, and make it virtually impossible for defenders to track them.
And it's this exact flexibility that allows Morocco to solve entirely different tactical problems. For example, when they faced Brazil's high press and advanced block, Morocco's rotations allowed them to easily find gaps, just effortlessly moving the ball down the field through the lines. That ability to break an advanced block bodes incredibly well for a potential matchup against a team like France. But the Netherlands posed a completely different problem. They didn't press high, they sat in a much deeper block with a massive five-man backline featuring 4 center backs and Denzel Dumfries. Morocco had to find a completely new way to cause problems. Section 1. Mastering the offensive overload. Let's move to and see how this builds on the pitch. Against a deep, stubborn defensive block like the one the Netherlands deployed, you can't just pass the ball around aimlessly, right? To break it, Morocco intentionally works the ball down the right-hand side, creating a massive 5 versus 4 overload. By keeping possession incredibly tight in that corner, they essentially drag the entire Dutch defense across the pitch. It's exhausting for the defense, but brilliant for Morocco, because the ultimate goal here, to completely isolate their striker, Saibari, all the way over at the far post against Denzel Dumfries. This overload is entirely made possible by those Swiss Army knife profiles we just talked about. I mean, you have players like Brahim Díaz dropping deeper from the left wing, Unahi dropping in from the number 10 slot, Elinai in the pivot, and Boadi and Hakimi pushing forward. You're almost playing like a rondo in that situation. Because they all have such high-level technical abilities, they can cluster together in unfamiliar spaces and maintain this massive possession advantage that just completely suffocates the opponent's defensive structure. But listen, this overload isn't just about looking good and playing keep away. It gives them incredibly potent, multiple avenues to attack. From this little cluster, they have the option to hit the byline through Díaz or Hakimi. If that's blocked, no problem. They can simply recycle the ball backward to support players who can then deliver across to that isolated striker at the back post. It's a brilliantly multi-layered offensive strategy. But honestly, perhaps most importantly, this clustering acts as a built-in safety net to instantly mitigate counterattack risks the split second they lose the ball. Which brings us to Section 2, the gegenpressing machine. And this brilliantly illustrates the flip side of their strategy. Imagine explosive players like Mbappe and Elise trying to launch a rapid counterattack against Morocco. Honestly, it sounds terrifying. But Morocco's offensive overload is actually their primary defensive weapon. By immediately and aggressively counterpressing the moment possession is lost, also known as the gegenpress, that heavy right-sided overload naturally and instantly transforms into a suffocating defensive trap. Because they have so many players clustered around the ball in possession, they already have perfect access to the opponent the exact split second the ball is turned over. It creates a massive 5 versus 3 advantage. In the match against the Netherlands, the exact moment Hakimi lost the ball during one of those right-sided overloads, the support players didn't just retreat. El Khanous, Diaz, Unahi, they instantly became a counter-pressing machine. 5 Moroccan players immediately swarmed 3 Dutch players. They applied instant pressure, won the ball right back, and actually generated a counterattack of their own. What makes this absolutely fascinating is how it totally defies the broader modern game. Today, teams are obsessed over deploying these gigantic, highly physical players deep to solve transition problems. But Morocco, they lean into their smaller, agile profiles. They arrive incredibly quickly into these counter-pressing moments. And if the opponent somehow magically breaks that initial press to find a channel ball, this entire swarm simply drops back and suffocates the ball again. They literally choke out the transition before it can even breathe. Moving to our final part, Section 3, built on chemistry. Now you might be thinking, how do they actually pull this off? A system this intricate, requiring such precise timing, doesn't just happen by throwing 11 talented guys on a pitch. This level of complex, synchronized rotation is the result of deep, long-term cohesion. This core group has been developing these dynamics together for a long time, stretching all the way back to their sustained excellence as 2022 Africa Cup of Nations semi-finalists. They've spent years learning each other's tendencies, which is exactly why a player like El Khanous knows the precise moment to shift right so Unahi can fill his space. And we really have to highlight the unsung heroes behind the scenes. All props to the coaching staff here. Maintaining these complex tactical ideas seamlessly is incredibly difficult, especially considering they have a relatively new coaching setup after Weed Regrai moved on. The fact that the current staff has kept the same sorts of sophisticated ideas flourishing is a massive testament to their coaching ability and, of course, the players' tactical intelligence. So, the crucial point is this. Morocco isn't just out there playing nice-looking football. They possess a beautiful aesthetic style, absolutely, but they pair it with highly practical, proven tactical solutions for entirely different game states. Whether a team presses them aggressively or sits back in a deep block, Morocco's Swiss Army knives have an answer. So the real question now is, with these incredible tools at their disposal, just how far can this tactical masterclass take them? Could they go all the way? It is going to be absolutely thrilling to find out. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep your eyes on those rotations.